fans of the movie or game Postal? Okay, so someone, that's fine. It's under wraps, but they told me I can quietly, the exact word is you can unofficially announce that we're bringing Postal to the DS. And as we put the finishing touches on Postal 3, which is going to be, I'm supposed to provide a voice for someone or something in the game, but it's all, you know, it's coming, we'll tell you when the script's done, so. What I've seen of it looks hysterical. They have the cowboy from the Village People playing one of the characters, and one of the missions is to take out Uva Bowl, who will also appear in the game if it goes as planned. So, yes. Anyway, so we know the Tron 2 is 2.0 is on the way, and anyone seen Monsters vs. Aliens in the new 3D yet? Yeah. So what do you think of it?
Awesome.
Yeah. Worth the $5 extra in your opinion? Yeah. Well, that's good, because DreamWorks is committed to doing all their animated films in 3D, and that means Madagascar 3, Kung Fu Panda 2, and a lot of other stuff coming. And of course, Disney's got all of their animated films coming in 2D, but 3D. But as Jeff Katzenberg came up to Seattle, ironically on the day of the gigantic snowstorm, and he told us basically what Disney does is they take a 2D film and convert it to 3D. We build it from the ground up in 3D. So you'll see a lot of that stuff coming. And the reason I mention that is you're going to be seeing a lot of 3D stuff. So as we go and talk about some of these films, and like I said, if we run out of time, we'll definitely continue it afterwards when I'm giving out the stuff. Terminator 4, we're all somewhat looking forward to that? Or Arnold is definitely in the film. But it is a very brief appearance, and apparently part of it has been digitized, but Arnold is in the film. Confirming what we've been told, Robert Patrick confirmed the other day that he has been talking to Mick G about appearing in the next one as the guy who creates the T-1000. Now, there were a lot of rumors, and it was confirmed they had to change the ending because the ending got leaked online about John Connor being a cyborg and blah, 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 blah. And test audiences were like, what the hell, this is ridiculous. And apparently the new ending is fantastic, and it has been tracking very well because this is supposed to set up 3 movies, so you don't want to end on a bad note with people. So this is the note I got from J.J. Abrams to pass along regarding Star Trek. And as some of you remember, this was supposed to come out last Christmas, and because of the writer's strike, and since Paramount had Iron Man and Indiana Jones and various things like that, they had their hits, so they decided let's push some stuff back and let's see what's going on. So, official word, we're just making final tweaks to the movie. We should be totally locked in next week, and that means they're going to be screening it in Australia in about a week to 10 days. Then we're going to flash freeze it so it's totally fresh for you in May. I cannot wait for you to see the movie. The cast is awesome, the action and effects are fantastic. They push the stunt team and industrial light and magic beyond their limits of technology. I'm so grateful to the cast and crew, to all of you for your interest and patience, and the word is, as I said, through the roof. Remember, Paramount kind of had washed their hands of Star Trek somewhat. It was that little, oh yeah, it makes some money, but the fans make a lot of noise, but they don't put the butts in the seats, and they don't really put the money down when it comes to it. I'm told they got $160 million is what Abrams was able to get, and I'm told it is all action, and it is all up there on the screen. The clever thing about it is apparently it's designed to appeal to non-Star Trek fans, but yet there's enough nods and winks in there to keep the the hardcore fans happy. So, and so we got to address the William Shatner rumor. Now I'm sure you're all aware that Bill's been very upset that he wasn't included in the film. I have not been able to get confirmation of this, but I have heard from 2 people, and they aren't saying, nobody can say it or not. They said there was a rumor going around that he's actually in the film. And this is actually all a big red herring to distract you, even to the point where when they screen it for the press, they won't have Shatner seen in it. And so the idea behind it is you're watching the film and all of a sudden he comes out completely unexpected and it just brings the house down. So, whether or not that remains to be seen, I can only confirm that Leonard Nimoy is in it. And, old Spock working with young Spock, so we'll see how that all plays out. And this summer you're going to see a lot of stuff coming 3D related, and before we get into that, I do have to announce J. Michael Straczynski of Babylon 5 fame. A little pissed right now. I don't know if you heard he had to scrap his Forbidden Planet script. We broke the news on this. Apparently some genius got a hold of it and stuck it out on the internet. And it was a year's worth of work setting up the prequel/sequel elements to it. And so Warner Brothers sat down and said, you know what, we're not going to put this movie out. It's not even in, it wasn't even in casting phase yet, when everyone knows what's happening. So we're going to sit down, we're going to scrap it, we're going to start over and see what happens. And this also ties in with the fact that a very good quality rough cut of Wolverine got out on the net the other day. Now apparently, this was before all of the stuff. Wolverine had extensive reshoots and edits done to it after it had wrapped photography. And that is very unusual, and to the point of, like, Ryan Reynolds' character was greatly expanded, which means not just reshoots, that's rewrites. But I'll say this, I was not impressed at all with the first trailer. The new trailer is absolutely fantastic. It looks like, I think they pulled it off. Because Hugh Jackman was saying 2 months ago he's prepared to walk away from the character if fans don't appreciate this. And this is basically the linchpin to see if we're going to get another X-Men film, if we're going to get the Magneto film, that sort of thing. So definitely be ready. And I know Ray's going to be here this weekend, and he'll probably be able to tell you all about Snake Eyes and G.I. Joe and that sort of thing. So I'm going to tell you the other sordid side of the production that they don't want you to talk about. So now, this has been cleaned up, of course, but I would say many of you in here would probably agree that the average summer film was kind of light on plot and character development, stuff like that. And yet it takes a script 10 to 14 months to get to that stage. I was told that they put the G.I. Joe script, 7 weeks old, into pre-production right before the writer's strike and fixed it up as they went along. Now this apparently caused some problem, and I'll PG this up for the crowd here, but what's a nice way to put this? Apparently director Stephen Sommers and Sienna Miller didn't see eye to eye on something, and it was to do with a very common practice on the Star Trek set of padding the bust line, and apparently he wanted her to be white padded, and she wasn't too happy with that. So we'll see how that all plays out. Now, I don't know if you're aware, it's not the greatest American hero anymore. It's a multinational task force and all that. So we'll see how that plays out. And before we really start getting into the way out films, and I apologize, I'm rushing because, as I said, we have so much stuff to get through. I'm trying to make sure we get all the highlights in. Any fans of Sacha Baron Cohen here? Has anyone seen the new trailer for Bruno yet? Yeah. It went before the ratings board the other day, NC-17 right off the bat, no questions. And yet they have 2 different versions of the film they've been test screening, and apparently it's going over really well. So now he's faced with, what do I trim that I can get an R rating of this film? Yes, apparently there was some very flamboyant scenes that did not sit well with the censors department. So interesting to see how that plays out. And now here's what I'm curious about. Show of hands here. Anyone interested in the Land of Lost movie this summer? Yeah, that's good to hear. You know, I kind of had oh geez, I remember it as a kid, but it really didn't, compel me to go say, oh great, this is coming. And then when I was down at Universal over the summer, I got to, look at some of the sets, and I'm like, well, this could work. And so it's kind of, in my mind, are we going to get the Anchorman Will Ferrell, or are we going to get the semi-pro Will Ferrell? Because I think basically the whole film is going to drive around him. But we'll see. Maybe this will come across well. Now, one thing I'm happy to announce, BioShock. You guys know the video game? The movie is in the works with Paul Urbanski, who did the Pirates of the Caribbean films. No casting news yet. And BioShock 2 is currently in the works, video game portion. And they said this one will have multiplayer, which I think was a glaring omission in the original one, but so we'll see that. And 3D, Ice Age 3, Dawn of the Dinosaurs is coming this summer. As you know, that's going to be a 3D film.